Hey, I just wanted to hop on tonight and show you how to make ranch dressing. I know the other night I did Thousand Island, and I know a lot of people are fans of like blue cheese and ranch dressing, so I just wanted to do a quick little video. I do have a recipe that I haven't tried yet. I haven't had ranch in a long time. I usually do Thousand Island blue cheese, or I do vinegar and olive oil. That's usually the route that I like to go. But I thought, why not? I know a lot of people like ranch, and so I'm gonna do ranch dressing tonight. And so the recipe I'm using, I can share with you down below. It's actually a recipe that I found online that I think will be pretty good. It's probably the closest you can get to ranch without buying the packet at the store, which has a lot of other added ingredients and stuff in it. So first we're going to start off with the mayonnaise. I'm using, it says to use like an immersion blender, but I'm going to use my Nutra Ninja, and so it'll probably work just as well, just need about a minute. And so I'm starting out with the mayonnaise on the bottom. This is 1 cup of mayo, and just whatever you have on hand works fine. I try really hard to stay away from products that have sugar in them. So the one that I'm using is the Primal Kitchen mayo. This is the avocado oil mayo. This is the one that I used here in my dressing that I'm making. So to start, you need the mayo, and then you're also going to need a few dry spices. You're going to need some garlic powder, and I use a lot of dry spices, so I actually have a pretty big jar of that on hand already. I keep this all the time. So this is the onion actually. And I have different size jars, and believe it or not, this is my garlic here. This jar at one point in time was completely full, and I've used most of it. So buy your spices and herbs in bulk. They're a lot cheaper to buy them in bulk than it is to buy containers. I don't have any sitting over here. I'd show it to you. The other ones you're gonna need are some basil leaf, and I just bought a little bit of that because I didn't actually have any. And believe it or not, this little bit that I bought, which was more than enough for the recipe because I've already put what I needed in the recipe, was 5 cents. So it's not very expensive to buy in bulk, and just buy what you need so they last longer. And then I've also got some dill here as well. This is like dill weed. Smells like dill pickles. And then also some parsley here. So that's the parsley. So those are the spices you'll need, plus some ground pepper, and I like to use fresh ground black pepper, and so I have a pepper grinder here. As you can see, this is what I use here. So, and the way this works is kind of just grind it down into the container, and it comes out right here. This is actually a Turkish coffee grinder, but we use it for a pepper grinder. And so I've already gotten all my spices together. I went ahead and put those inside a measuring cup, and so I'm just gonna go ahead and put those in with the mayo. So I'll go ahead and get that in there. It actually calls for about 1/4 cup of heavy whipping cream in there as well. And so I know you can't see everything right now, but I'll show you this when it's finished. There's other times where I don't really measure a lot of stuff. I like to cook, and so I usually spice the flavor, you know, for me and what I like. And so I went ahead and I actually doubled up on the spices, on the dried spices, because I like flavor. And sometimes some of the recipes, they don't have very much flavor. And there's also sour cream in this, believe it or not. So it's got heavy whipping cream, and it's got sour cream, and it also has the mayo in there. And that's pretty much it. I mean, that's all the ingredients mixed in. You probably want to let it sit overnight so the flavors can meld. And I mean, it really is that easy. You know, I'm just gonna put the lid on this and blend it up in the Nutra Ninja. Sorry about shaking the camera there. Let's see. So one thing about this is sometimes you have to take the container off and shake it around a little bit. If you look at it, you can kind of tell, you can see the spices and stuff in there. It makes me think that it's going to be a pretty good version of ranch. The only thing that may be missing for me is maybe some vinegar, maybe a little bit, hate to say it, sugar. I use alternative sugars. I don't use regular table sugar. I don't use sugar cane or just pure sugar that you buy at the store. I use alternative sugars that don't impact your blood sugar. So I know this thing's probably a little loud, so I'm sorry about that. It's only supposed to be about 60 seconds with an immersion blender, and since I don't have one of those, I'm just using my Nutri-Ninja. Let's see, I'm gonna open it back up here. I don't think I have a spoon. I didn't bring a spoon with me. Let's see. I mean, it looks pretty good. It looks, I did put a lot of herbs in there, so this may be a bit much for some people. I don't know if you can see that or not. Hopefully you can. Let me see. This is pretty much what it looks like. So it did pretty well, I think. I'm not gonna try it tonight. I'll wait until tomorrow to try it. It looks pretty good. Believe it or not, it actually smells like ranch dressing, so I'm quite surprised. I haven't had ranch dressing in a while, and I do like to make my own dressing, so it's kind of nice to be able to make this and share it with you guys. And if there's anything that you want to see me make or learn how to make, I usually won't post stuff that I haven't tried. This is the first time I've actually done a live where I haven't tried the recipe yet. I'll let you know how that turns out tomorrow and what I would do differently. Again, if there's anything you want to see, you can either post it down below. If you don't want to do that, feel free to private message me, and I'll see what I can do about going live with something else that maybe you want to see, depending on what the recipe is, and if I can find one, whether I've made it or not. All right, well, I'll post the recipe down below, and everyone have a good night.